गुरुर्ब्रह्मा स्वयं साक्षात् सेव्यो वन्द्यो मुमुक्षुभिः नोद्वेजनीय एवायम् तत्त्वज्ञेन विवेकिना।
Wrong in my recent days. They have never been proved wrong. But further chiseling. In my chiseling the statue, what I thought would be a beautiful nose proved to be a little too blunt. It needed some more chiseling to fit the face in which it is placed. Something like it. The ear that I imaged for the picture was too shallow, should have been more hollow. So I am chiseling it. The statue that I imagined was tight-lipped. I introduced a slight pleasant smile into the lips with small chisel. So the shape is really taking. Slowly it is perfection. All this is necessary. Otherwise, the restlessness of ignorance in the presence of a desire to knowledge, it is consuming.
Yes, beautifully put. Restlessness of ignorance, the desire for knowledge.
That is really restless. You can't eat, you can't sleep. Every minute seems to be wasteful, and we feel stuck when we have to run fastest. That's very necessary. That is tapas. That is why rishis sat in tapas millions of years to understand the scheme. I have gone through a book on Buddha, in which it's very clear. Yesterday I spoke to that Lama also. He didn't understand the whole picture very critically as I was questioning him. Enlightenment was the first thing. According to Buddhism, enlightenment is purification. If you are totally emerging pure, free from even a speck of dust of ignorance or selfishness anywhere, you are enlightened. After enlightenment, he went to Bodhi tree. He went on shifting from tree to tree every week. He did not sit for 49 days and nights. What he ultimately, after crossing the limit of enlightenment, where did he wander? That wandering was the unraveling the mystery of creation. That is what he did. That unraveling of the mystery of creation, the correct example is an onion. If you go on removing the layer after layer, nothing remains. There is no jiva at all. There are only samskaras. That's a very great secret that he found. We have been laboring under strong belief, only based on scriptures, but not first-hand knowledge, that there is a jiva, that is conditioned. But even that jiva, there ought to be a seed even for the onion, but it is invisible, non-existing almost when compared to the strong and wide layers it is taking upon itself. So we have to first annihilate the concept of a self, and the self itself vanishes. The concept of self is binding us. The strong belief that there is a soul, that is conditioning our thinking. So one must, what I mean to say is, We are not supposed to be bogged down by any kind of conditioning. Even if it is a Jivatma, Jiva Brahma Yavanapara, if it is Paramatma itself, you don't bother to educate it and enlighten it, because it is capable of enlightening itself. So any kind of human effort is a very pitiful attempt of, and absolute ignorance and inefficiency loaded with them, and in the direction of a very, very lofty hope and a lofty ambition that I'll, just like my thinking, I'll try it from tomorrow, I'll do everything to save the God from the world. It is something like that. We can't save the God from the world, nor save the world from the God. If both of them are good, they have to suffer from each other, each other's goodness, as well as evil, whatever it is. That is not our problem. Problem is how to emancipate from all kinds of artificial conditioning. There is a conditioning is of two kinds. Artificially I can condition you, like I put on the Harishchandra's robes and attire and dress on you. So for a few hours you are Harishchandra. That's artificial conditioning. And true conditioning is another. What is true conditioning? Suppose I want you to help you to get rid of some condition that is artificial, already made by yourself or imposed on yourself. So that kind of a deconditioning is natural, true conditioning. That also is a conditioning again. I don't agree with JK that it is not conditioning. Even that is conditioning.
Which is conditioning?
So you have already conditioned yourself. And deconditioning yourself according to my way of looking at the truth is also another kind of conditioning. What is absolutely necessary is whatever be the condition in which you may be living and existing at any moment, given moment, you must know that it is conditioning. That is the real deconditioning. Am I clear? If you are I create an awareness in you that anything is conditioning. That is the real deconditioning. I can get you rid of the religion, make you a disbeliever in religion, in anything, in karma, in jnana, vairagya, even then. But I have conditioned you again in a different mold. The true self must recognize anything as conditioning. Belief, disbelief. Both. If I am giving my own conditioning to you, I have already failed at my own attempting in deconditioning you. JK committed this. That is Maya. He could not pierce through the wheel of Maya when he put a wheel of his own choice and called it non-Maya. Again, it's conditioning. The real Atman should not be conditioned by anything. That is Brahman. That is Brahman. Simply getting you rid of your religious faiths and beliefs and then calling you that I have deconditioned you does not belong to any religion. There is He in him. There is a He in him. He does not know what I made him. Awareness, that is Nirguna Brahma. The Creator Brahma is there, for example. Creator Brahma is conditioned Brahma. And conditioning is a process of creation. But in the core of his heart, he is aware that he has dawned ignorance. And that ignorance is the material with which he is working, his creation. In his core, he is not conditioned, he is Brahman. In his functions, he is aware of having been conditioned. to suit a particular direction of activity. That is jnana. No one else, even Narada, would always be thinking that he is free from any conditioning. Even Narada feels that he is a conditionist. He is aware that the core of Brahma is the true self state. But they try to reach that self state in Brahma. For this reason, the praise to Lord Brahma is, you alone know the ultimate truth. You are the truth. Knowing the truth and also being the truth is knowing, that is called knowing the self. Being the truth and knowing the truth is called being the self. Many Vedic sentences in Upanishads, Atma va are drashtavya, shrotavyo, mantavyo, nitijhajitavya, that is tapas. That tapas is Brahma is always aware of. In this sense, most of us, we have been conditioned by our past, of awareness of the past, awareness of the present, hoping to change our present into a new type of future, unlike the past or unlike the present, and yet trying to frame the future in a particular shape with a fine sentiment and a sense of artistry and also idealism. All these things being put into the concept of the future and trying to chisel the time. And always something that is like you want to mold the air into a shape. To start with, it looks like. But when air is compressed into liquid state, it can take a shape, and then solid state also. What can be converted into liquid can be converted to solid also. Only pressure remains to be changed. In our future, conceptualizing of our future, what we should always think of is, can we condemn the entire past as bad? Or can we find any particular moment in the past deserving to be described as the absolute right? There is neither. There was no moment like this. It was always an admixture of good and bad. What we can only conceive is the maximum perfection to the maximum people for the maximum length of time possible. Only this much can be. Beyond that, it is not possible to conceive. But then even this must be starting with an absolute imagination of truth. Absolute truth must be imagined, conceived. Then it comes to practice, the maximum is possible. Even today, we have been struggling. What is good? To know what is good. In this sense, what is absolutely good? What is absolutely good is a very bigger question, much bigger question. What is good? Maximum good. Then in anything that we see as good, there is an apparent defect being noticed a little later. Immorality, for example. Is absolute morality good? Is also the question. If absolute morality is really good, take the case of Buddhism. Absolute morality is purification of the consciousness. Absolute morality. But what is the purpose of an individual's consciousness being purified to the extent of absolute perfection? The question arose immediately. If one man is redeemed, does it make any good for the mankind? Is mankind important or the individual important? Now when we are in Theravada, Buddhism, or in monastic approach to this discipline, we have started already approaching this social level of the manhood, individual, not as a man, but where society has become our target of approach. So perfection, ultimately it came down to maximum possible perfection to the maximum possible people for the maximum time possible. So the original concept of individual perfection and purification has vanished. So what it should mean is every individual in the society must be a Buddha. That is what we attempt. So ultimately all people have become Buddhists and not Buddhas. That is where it ended. I can imagine what is perfect for tomorrow, but the ideal coming down to earth, crash to the ground level, what is it that we can do? I find the same kind of awareness of failure even in Krishna. He is fully aware of the limitations of his concept, catching up with all people. So what he taught, this is a Prakriti which does not heed to anyone's instructions. All I can have is my own perfection. If I can make Arjuna the closest next human being, as perfect as I am, it's the greatest achievement that I can think of. So he has only indicated a direction. This direction is meant for one and all, but every one of the all. That is that is exactly the place, the limitation of the ultimate conceptual limitation, or the possible limitations of the implementation of a thought. But then to be more and more perfect, or for greater achievement by even percentages wise, the more and more perfect concept has to be evolved. It has to be put into understandable terms, must also be put into implementation as soon as possible, starting with one individual at a time, so that one torch can light up one more torch incessantly, perennially, without limit. So we are conditioned by creation, basically. We are not creation. Even if you accept Buddha's precept that there is no soul, then you are no creation. If there is a soul equal to Brahman, even then you are no creation. You are in a creation. So the inevitability of the conditioning is there before you. Deconditioning should not stop halfway by removing the religion or a philosophy from your mind. It should go to the logical end. Tell you that you are not creation, you are not created, you are only conditioned externally. This must be the philosophy which should be put into a clearly understandable, simplistic language. More philosophy and intellectualization of a simple concept makes it more unacceptable. What is necessary is you should not have to depend on a few intellectuals and analysts, or few sattvic kind of people who are interested in the ultimate truth. That in that direction, even the goldsmith and the blacksmith must be able to run in that direction, so that one day they will reach that stage when they will be able to help themselves out. The direction is important. Direction leading to perfection, leading to self-analysis, self-emancipation. These are the things which should be put in the language of religions of today and yesterday, rejecting their stuff and taking the essence, combining the forces that have influenced the mankind emotionally and sometimes intellectually. For example, Islam has influenced the mankind emotionally, not intellectually. Hinduism has influenced mankind intellectually and not emotionally. Emotion is the life force with which it lives on. Very well. And only by an internal emotion, which is self-destructive, there is an end of their story. But intellect cannot replace emotions. So what parts of the man should be directed and influenced into this fold of new concept of a world path. You see, religion is, we can call religion also a path, but there are paths. Path is important. Otherwise, like the condition of Indian subcontinent, it is directionless, being pulled and pushed in all directions simultaneously, without allowing it to even sink or float, drift or swim. Nothing is allowed to happen. The mankind needs some place, some kind of new concept. That is parking my mind, thinking. I can straight away enter into the times and consciousness of Krishna or even Rama or even whether Hanuman. It's not difficult for me. The consciousness has become so thin and vaporized that is capable of pervading into anything. Whether time frames is not putting up walls against my consciousness. There are no yugas. To that extent, there is an inherent capability acquired or given by the Lord, whatever. With this, the problem has become more complex. It is not a happy even thing. More and more. The more I try to see, the more is there to be seen. So, where to go back? Since the extreme end of the circle is the beginning point of the circle, perhaps that circle is being described. The describing of the circle is the process going on. Place and confinement.
What the master is saying is that when you define the path, prior to it you will set the goal, and after having shown the goal you will say this is the path. The goal is very ambitious. The path should be conveyed in a manner which will make it graspable even to the blacksmith and the goldsmith. And then you will have to describe a path which he thinks is in his interests to follow.
And it fits into his frame of mind at that level of...
Very ambitious.
Chala ambition, I think.
Very ambitious.
That is to give a convenient religion, an admixture of all this to the hypola. It was not difficult at all. That could have been done 50 years ago. And I could have taken the people by storm and would have established my own path. Not perfect. The only failure, the worst failure in that path would be myself. Everyone else would be thinking they are great, except myself. You see, it doesn't take a long time to write a bad novel. But the failure is known only to the author, not the reader. Some readers may appreciate it, they may like it, it's very good. Some may say it is so-so. Some people may be extraordinarily impressed with you. Oh, that character is built up so well and all. Series of events he built up. Author knows how imperfect it is. So, dhanya tapas. In fact, this is the direction in which great rishis went on doing tapas. If you ask me why did they do tapas, this was their problem.
Which means so far it has not been solved.
Not solved. Every time it appeared to have been solved forever. Kapila thought that he solved it. Sankhya. No, it was not solved.
That is very tough.
Here is the final solution.
Hmm?
Here is the final solution, nothing more about it. No? Kashyap Prajapati tried to solve it. Then, I would say many. Gautama tried to solve it. He did tapas. Kanada. They did not expose themselves in so many language and words before doing tapas, like the today's masters. They first entered into tapas and then expounded what they found in some language. So it was what religion have they found? Tapas is a kind of understanding of various creations parameters. J.K. thought, I have found out the problem, and here is the solution first. But then, identifying the problem itself was very imperfect. The solution cannot be obviously the perfect one. He was struggling within. I remember, I know. I could see a clear struggle within. It was not that simple. Because tapas was lacking and intellectual dynamism stopped tapas. After a level, the dynamic intellect must be silenced. It should not be allowed to make any noise in tapas. Tapas is the essence of our journey into the unseen realms of our creation. Intellect cannot pierce. See, if my body cannot pierce this wall, my mind can pierce the wall. Quote. But just like that, there is a greater efficiency at every level. The consciousness can. As I very clearly said, consciousness also has not solved the problem. It's the permeability of all times and matter to my consciousness has not solved the problem. It is. So the ultimate question is should it be there are equations, determinate equations and indeterminate equations. Indeterminate equations ఉన్నాయి కదా కొన్ని, where certain factors are not definable. Indeterminate అని అంటారు mathematics లో. So introduce one indeterminate function fx, function x, into all the other things, taking all the other things as are definable parameters and one indefinable parameter into it.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
లోపలే కదా తెచ్చేది. You don't start a pilot project on this.
దాని గురించి ఆలోచిస్తాను. నాకు ఎంత చలి వేస్తుందో, ఎంత బాధపడుతున్నదో, అవన్నీ శరీరం నాకు కనపట్టలేదు, అంత బాధపడలేదు. టాలరబుల్ లాంగ్వేజ్, టాలరబుల్. బట్ ఐ డోంట్ నో, ఇట్ ఇస్ ఓపెన్డ్ అప్. ఎంతో పని చేస్తాను కాన్షియస్నెస్, ఎంత తిరుగుతుంది. అందుకని దానికే తపోభూమి అని అంటుంటే, మరీ పిచ్చిగా ఉన్నప్పుడు వెళ్ళి ఏదో 2 తనకాసు లాంటివి కొనుక్కుని షాపింగ్ చేసి రావడం ఎంత body should be engaged into some stupid activity. Because our first question is, am I bodily brought here alone? It doesn't appear to be so. It is, I am also brought here apart from my body. But for that, I would have remained there. If I am bodily alone, if I am brought here, I would have been in Hyderabad only. Lock, stock, barrel brought here. That way, this is not an accidental happening, physically being confined as the planes are not landing. It doesn't appear to be so. అర్థమైంది కదా, ఆ స్ట్రగుల్ స్టేట్ మీకు అర్థమైంది కదా. సో But incidentally, physically also, somebody also have been brought here and put to mechanical inconvenience. Ultimately, I have found one thing that is very clear. Do not try to decondition anyone. Make him aware that he is conditioned.
In a way,
That is conditioned. That is moksha. This is certainly the latest realization, latest concept of correct definition.
you are stating the thing from an angle which is closer to the truth or the truth.
The truth
It's just the angle of statement which has made all the difference.
made all the difference.
Okay. Because when you began with this, there was a confusion. When you ended with this statement, that is suddenly disappeared.
You must be aware that you are conditioned. That's all about it.
Suddenly disappeared.
Changing from one conditioning to another conditioning. I am Manushya, I am Brahma. No, even that. If a man is made to believe that he is Brahma, he is not becoming Brahma. బాగా ఆలోచిస్తే తెలుస్తాను నాకు. ఇది మాత్రం లాస్ట్ 5-6 డేస్లో బాగా అర్థమైంది. వీఆర్ కమిటింగ్ ఆల్ ది మిస్టేక్ ఈస్ లైంగ్ హియర్. వీఆర్ ట్రయింగ్ టు కండిషన్ ద మ్యాన్ by teaching and preaching and making him believe, making him experience the belief. We are trying to force the man to experience the belief into which I put you.
That also therefore is only some mental picture only which he sees conjured up.
All of you I
Like
can make
Mr.
you
Bile was crying the other day.
అది పాపం ఒక లెవెల్లో ఉంటున్నాడు. But actually
you are conditioning me and making me to ask me to decondition, and I am trying to only see that which I am imagining and edustunnadu.
Strictly speaking, the greatest intellectual is building a very strong prison around himself. That is one kind of conditioning. He must get rid of his intellect if he is capable of. Tapas is the only form. Tapas is nothing but silence. And rather than waiting for a conceived form appearing before you and then clamoring that is the form I have seen is only my conditioned thinking, it's not absolute. Then that struggle obviously means that you are deliberately conditioning yourself helplessly and you are unhappy about it. All knowledge ultimately ends, I think, with the awareness of any kind of conditioning. There ends the matter. Why am I happy? Why am I not unhappy? There are two questions. When I analyzed myself, the truth appeared in this mind. So, like you change your garments and the color and pattern of your garments every day, and you are aware of it. Today I am in a blue suit, I am there. Yesterday I was in a yellow suit. Today I am in Indian dress. The other day I was in some African dress. Fully aware you dress up yourself. This is the ultimate self-realization is this.
Can you, I would request Masters to state it again for our benefit.
A man, it is possible for a man of constantly being aware of his being conditioned.
Don't decondition, Anmali. We are so far we are focusing on deconditioning. Rather than that,
It is aware. We have been talking about deconditioning because conditioning can be go on changing, like your dress, for example, the language you speak, the food you eat, depends on the country in which you are moving, the climatic conditions. You are aware that you are the same man, changing your dress pattern, language pattern. Similarly, if you are aware that conditioning is possible into a deeper level inside your personality, every condition is a conditioning. In any state, you are particularly conditioned that way, but that is not you. That's not yourself. It is when it is possible that it is to know conditioning may change its pattern. The real self is totally different from the conditions in which it is put, made to go through. So the self itself is the only one which is not conditioned to me inherently, internally, but only externally. This awareness is self-awareness. Inside and outside, there are two things. Nothing can go inside you. Anything can come over you outwardly. So, in a birth one is a Hindu, another birth is a Muslim, another birth is a Christian, again comes back to Hinduism after wandering. These things, the soul, if there is anything like that, it is going through. And even the belief that there is a soul has become a condition. If many great saints like Nagarjuna, for example, or even Milarepa, a great saint, he is not an ordinary man, he is somebody like Milarepa, is somebody like Kapila Maharshi. But there is no soul at all. There can't be an untruth in it, because they are not believers, they are not followers, they are experiencers. Rest of the community is believers or followers. They don't experience. That is why I have quoted a few names. Obviously, how is it Nagarjuna accepted this truth? How is it even Milarepa has accepted the truth that there is no soul? But they have experienced the non-existence of soul also. Like the example I said, the onion, nothing remains inside. The concept of a core was there at some time. Not that we are able to clearly see the core of the onion. We believe that there must have been a core around which something has been regularly growing layer by layer. Without there being a core, how could the layer be growing around something? That core could be only a speck, an atom. If it could be dismissed as non-existent, it accepts that dismissal. If it is defined that there is a core, it accepts its definition. So every time what the preachers and the religionists, what the great thinkers and authors of religion are doing, are always making them accept and believe what they perceived as truth. This way all millions of people have been conditioned by the imagination or explanation or the acceptance or the experience of one individual. It is not necessary acceptable to one and all by a master, no doubt about it. Master is necessary to show a path, but the path should not suddenly end like a cul-de-sac at one time, like a blind lane. It must lead to wider paths, but not narrower lanes. Religions have led people to narrower lanes, rather than taking them into wider visual places of great Maidan-like things, where stars and the sea can be seen at a time. If you are led into a narrow lane, you can see your little hut. Are religions right in framing themselves in such a way that the followers and believers are entering into narrow lanes and bylanes from a wider happy field? Lanes must lead to wide field. Therefore, what is ultimate truth? Let us find this truth in this manner. Let us, how to put it also, we know about it. There is that independence that is possible for every soul, individual, which is possible to be earned just as you have earned it. And then don't classify, do not condition, do not tell them anything, but yet show the path.
That is by own demonstration.
That is the problem.
Very ambitious. Very ambitious.
Very ambitious.
Don't tell them anything. How will you define the goal? I have put Maria, show them something out me kada etla chestar.
Do not define the goal. The path should automatically lead to the goal. It's too much. That's another way. అలాగుంటేనే పాత్ ఫైండర్, అలా ఉంటేనే మాస్టర్ అనే మాట వాడికి చెందుతుంది. ఎనీథింగ్ రిలీజ్ వాడు ఉంటే మాస్ అవుతాడు. నా అంబిషన్ అది. My problem is not such a simple thing to show the ultimate experience of deliverance to these few souls. That has been achieved long ago. It is a fait accompli. That is not my problem. I am not faced with any problem of a solid matter, made of any solid matter. To fight the air is extremely difficult. To fight a solid man is very easy. How can you fight either? The stronger you are, the greater is the exertion. The faster you get exerted and tired. Air can be fought with air. Ether can be fought with ether. Formlessness should be fought with formlessness. Mind can be fought with mind. Concepts should be destroyed by concepts.
Tamas with tamas.
Tamas with tamas. Otherwise, fighting the shadow gets you exhausted. Chala undi problem. It's a big problem.
Don't decondition. Stop conditioning.
Stop conditioning. And if he is under any condition, let him be aware that he is presently conditioned. He is only in his present conditioning. కాన్షియస్నెస్, పర్వేడింగ్ కాన్షియస్నెస్ చెప్పాను కదా, స్వర్గం తిరుగుతోంది, నరకం తిరుగుతోంది నా మనసులో. స్వర్గం, నరకం, కర్మలోకాలు, అకర్మకృత్య లోకాలు, కర్మ చేయనటువంటి లోకాలు, తపస్సు చేసిన లోకాలు, చేయని లోకాలు, తపస్సు చేద్దాం అనుకుని చేయలేని వాళ్ళ లోకాలు, పాస్ట్ అన్నీ తిరుగుతుంది. ఫ్యూచర్ కూడా తిరుగుతుంది నా మనసులో. ఫ్యూచర్ తిరుగుతోందంటే ఇన్ కాన్సిక్వెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రజెంట్ అండ్ పాస్ట్. ఇది ఇలాగే నడుస్తే రాయి పైనుంచి దొరిలిస్తే ది ప్రెడిక్షన్ ఈజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఫాలింగ్ డౌన్, అంతే కదా. మధ్యలో ఆపగలిగితే ఆపగలగాలి. అంటే ఈ పాసిబిలిటీతో ఉంది దాని ఫ్యూచరు.
పాసిబిలిటీ
ఉంది కదా, దాన్నే ఆలోచించాలి. ఓం నిత్యం ఓం చేసుకోండి, ఓం ప్రణం చేసుకుంటే 6 నిమిషాలు మీకు మోక్షం వస్తుంది. అది కాదు కదా సమస్య. 10 మందిని మార్గం చూపించడం, 100 మందిని మోక్ష మార్గం చూపించడం, ప్రణవోపాసన చేయించడం, అది ఒకటి సమస్య కాదు. సమస్య సృష్టి పద్ధతి చాలా. ఈశ్వరుడు ఏమో లీల, అతనికి సమాసం తెలియదా? వీళ్ళంతా ఎందుకు పుట్టిస్తున్నాడు? ఈశ్వరుడు ఎందుకు దీనికి ఒక ప్లాన్ ఇవ్వటం లేదు అంటే ది మోస్ట్ డేంజరస్ థింగ్ దట్ ఈశ్వర ది క్రియేటర్ హ్యాస్ డన్ ఈజ్ గివింగ్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ టు ది పీపుల్. వీఆర్ మాస్టర్లెస్ అల్టిమేట్లీ.
The only point on which Master has found something to talk positively about Islam.
థింకర్స్కి, మాస్టర్స్కి, ఋషులకి, తత్వవేత్తలకి ఇండిపెండెన్స్ ఇచ్చాడు. ఇంతమంది తత్వవేత్తలకి ఇండిపెండెన్స్ ఇచ్చి తను సాక్షిగా ఉండడం ఏమిటి అంటే తనకి ఏమీ పాలసీయే లేదు ఈ విషయంలో, క్రియేషనే ఉంది అంతే. ఏ విధంగా ఎవరు ఎలాగ తను చేరుకుంటారు అంటే లిమిటెడ్ పారామీటర్ ఆఫ్ ది సోల్స్ ఇమాన్సిపేషన్ ఫ్రమ్ ది చైన్ ఆఫ్ రీబర్త్స్, అదొక్కటే మీకు చాలు అన్నాడు ప్రపంచం అందరికీ ఇచ్చినటువంటిది. పాత్ ఫైండర్స్కి మాత్రం ఇండిపెండెన్స్ ఇచ్చాడు. వీళ్ళకి లిమిటెడ్ స్కోప్ ఉంది, లిమిటెడ్ టర్మ్సే ఉన్నాయి. వీళ్ళకి అన్లిమిటెడ్ టర్మ్స్ మాస్టర్ ఉండడం చేస్తుంది. అందరు కూడా నో మాస్టర్ హ్యాస్ బికమ్ ఏ ఫర్ ఎవర్ మాస్టర్. ఎవ్రీబడి హ్యాస్ his validity is coming to a close over a time.
He has not become forever a master.
అందుకని వీళ్ళందరినీ అనలైజ్ చేసుకొని వీళ్ళందరినీ కాంపాక్ట్గా ఒక చోటకి తీసుకొచ్చి పెట్టుకుని వాటిలోంచి అల్టిమేట్ ట్రూత్ మధించి పైకి లాగి చెప్పి ఇది అల్టిమేట్ అని చెప్పడానికి కాలం ఆసన్నమైందేమో అని ఒక భావం. చెప్పాలేమో కాలం ఆసన్నమైందేమో అలా అయితే తప్ప I think the mankind has experimented with enough religions. That time is over అని నాకు అనిపిస్తుంది. There are no more religions to be experimented with. I think it has already experimented with enough philosophies of religious nature. There are no more philosophies left. That is the turning point. I have also come to the conclusion nearly almost that the world has experimented with enough political philosophies as well on the material plane. And there are no more new, wonderfully new, innovative political philosophies that can be thought of. So therefore we are at a juncture. We are at a turning point. Whatever ultimately, whether it is religious philosophy or political philosophy, is always meant for the good of the mankind. And how to define good of the mankind? Peaceful existence, if not purposeful living for the masses. And if it is purposeful living, future means evolution. Evolution means the ultimate, reaching the ultimate state of consciousness, subconscious, and the Atman, if it is there. If there is no Atman, his journey stops somewhere. He disappears into nowhere. Even that is a goal. ఇవన్నీ ఒక చోట కాంప్రహెన్సివ్గా ఒక పాత్ర చూపించాలి. అప్పుడే మనం మాస్టర్ అనిపించుకోవడానికి, లేకపోతే ఏమి లేదు. 2444th master. What does it really mean? Master number 2444 అంటే does it mean anything? ఎందుకు? అదే నా భావం. అంతకన్నా అలాగే తిరుగుతాం లోపల. I can tell you. Now perhaps in my growth up to my 70 years of life, I found some language and thought to express the innermost restlessness.
ఇటువంటి యూనివర్సల్ కాన్షియస్నెస్ ఇంత తపస్సుతో ఇంత టైం స్పాన్ యుగాలే నాకు లేవు అని చెప్పి ఇటువంటి కాన్షియస్నెస్తో మాస్టర్కి 60 years పట్టిందనమాట. ఏదో ఒక సమ్ ప్రిలిమినరీ కన్క్లూజన్స్కి రావడానికి.
Because I had to see the contemporary history of 6 decades. What is happening to the mankind? What are religions? What are philosophies? What is communism, socialism? ఇవి కూడా చూస్తేనే కొంత solidified అయింది. Present is more important, I think. స్మైలింగ్ గాను లాఫింగ్ గాను ఉంటాను, కానీ చాలా కోర్లో ఉండే బిగ్ క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్ ఉంటూనే ఉంటుంది. ఆ క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్ మీదనే పైకి సూపర్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అంతా వేసుకొని, సపోజ్ యూ మేక్ ఏ క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్ అండ్ ఆన్ దట్ సూపర్ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఈజ్ బిల్ట్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ క్వశ్చన్. ఏది చేసినా కూడా ఇది అబ్సల్యూట్ ట్రూత్ అని.
మార్క్ యూ కాంట్ కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ ఆన్ ఎ క్వశ్చన్. You have to construct only on a basis. ఆన్సర్ బేస్ కావాలి, కానీ క్వశ్చన్ బేస్ కాకూడదు. ఆన్సర్ ఇస్ ది రిజల్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది క్వశ్చన్. అలా ఉంది నాకు. చూశాను సార్, చదవని ఫిలాసఫీ లేదు, నేను ఎరగని వ్యక్తి లేడు పూర్వకాలంలో. అందరినీ చూశాను, కపిలుడు, గౌతముడు, కణాదుడు, వాళ్ళు వీళ్ళందరినీ. వాళ్ళ లాంగ్వేజ్లో వాళ్ళు రాసిచ్చిన బుక్స్ మిగిలిపోయిన ఇప్పుడు చదివి నాకు ఆ కర్మ లేదు. వాళ్ళని వ్యక్తిని తలుచుకుంటే వాళ్ళ స్వరూపం, స్వభావం రెండు కనపడతాయి. తలుచుకుంటే వచ్చే స్వరూపమే దర్శనం అంటారు, స్వభావ దర్శనమే దర్శనం. అయినా కూడా ఎప్పటికప్పుడే అయినా వాళ్ళెవరూ కూడా ఒక్కటి, వాళ్ళందరూ మాస్టర్సే. ఎందుకంటే దే రిమైండ్ విత్ ది క్వశ్చన్. దే డిడ్ నాట్ ఆటోమేటికలీ థింక్ దట్ దే సాల్వ్ ది క్వశ్చన్. ఒక ఫిలాసఫీ ఇచ్చినప్పటికీ కూడా దిస్ ది ఓన్లీ ఆన్సర్ వీ కెన్ గివ్ అని హ్యూమిలిటీతో ఇచ్చారు. అది నాకు తెలుసు. అందుకని వాళ్ళు పరమ పూజ్యులు. కణాద, గౌతమాదులు అందరూ కూడా గొప్ప పూజ్యులు. వాళ్ళు ఫైనల్గా నేను చెప్పేసా నీకు ఏమీ లేదు, ఆలోచించక్కర్లేదు అనలేదు. వాళ్ళు నిన్న మొన్న పొద్దున్న పుట్టినటువంటి జైమిని మహర్షి, పూర్వమీమాంసకులు, వీళ్ళు అసలు ఆ క్వశ్చన్లోకి వెళ్ళలేదు. అది అన్సేఫ్. అందులోకి సముద్రంలో ఈతినట్టు డైరెక్షన్ తెలియకుండా నదిలో ఈతొచ్చు, ఈ ఒడ్డులు ఒడ్లు కనిపిస్తాయి, కానీ అందులో మనం పోవద్దు. కర్మాకాండ అందులో పెట్టుకున్నారు. చాలా లిమిటెడ్ థింకింగ్, లిమిటెడ్ పారామీటర్. వాళ్ళు ధన్యులైపోయారు. ఎందుకు దీంతో నేను ముక్తి పొందుతాను, నాకు చాలు వెళ్ళిపోతాను. నన్ను బాగా నమ్ముకున్న వాళ్ళు 10 ముక్తి పొందుతారు, 10 మంది చాలు, ఇంతే నేను చేయగలిగింది. వెళ్ళిపోయారు ఫేస్ టు ఫేస్ విత్ ఎన్ ఎథీరియల్ క్వశ్చన్. దే డిడ్ నాట్ డేర్. అది నేను చెప్పేది. సమస్య కానీ నన్ను బాధించక నన్ను ఏదో లార్జర్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ ఒకటి నన్ను ఎప్పుడు దాని మీద ఏకాగ్రత ఉండడం చేత జరుగుతున్న పని. అదే స్మాల్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్స్ 20 మందికి ఎలాగో మీకు టికెట్ ఇస్తాం, కూర్చోబెడతాం అని అంటే నాకు దుఃఖమే వస్తుంది. 500 మందిని వదిలిపెట్టి నేను 20 మంది అంటాను. కాబట్టి నా మనసు దానికి ఒప్పుకోవటం లేదు. అది ఒప్పుకుని అది కావాలని అంటే భగవంతుడు ఎప్పుడు ఇచ్చి ఉండేవాడేమో, కానీ అది నాకు అది అలా అనిపించడం లేదు. 20 people ఈజ్ నో ప్రాబ్లం. లెట్ ఆల్ పీపుల్ గో, లెట్ మీ బీ లెఫ్ట్ బిహైండ్. నేను ఒక్కడే ఉంటాను. ఏం డిఫికల్టీస్ ఉంటాయి ఏరియాలో, నాకు ఒకటి, దెన్ ఐ విల్ బీ హ్యాపీ. ఈ 19 కాదు, 499 people వెళ్ళిపోతే నన్ను ఒక్కడిని ఉంటామంటే ఆ బార్గైన్ ఒప్పుకుంటాను. బట్ నాతో సహా 20 మంది వెళ్ళిపోవడం, 480 మంది ఫారినర్స్, వాళ్ళు వీళ్ళు కష్టపడతారు. అసలు సమస్య అది కాదు. ఫ్లైట్స్ ల్యాండ్ అవ్వాలి, తీసుకెళ్ళాలి అందరినీ, అలా ఉంటుంది. ఆ పర్స్పెక్టివే దాని మినియేచర్. లార్జర్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ ఏదైతే ఉందో దాని మినియేచరే ప్రతి దాంట్లోనూ పనిచేస్తుంది. ఒక కూల్ డ్రింక్ డబ్బాయే దొరుకుతుంది షాప్లో, అది మీరు తీసుకొని నాకు ఇస్తారు. ది మోస్ట్ నీడెడ్ పర్సన్ ఎవరో వాళ్ళకి ఇవ్వాలి. కానీ అలా being the truth, it expresses itself in specific situations.
సిచ్యుయేషన్స్.
So this is the way it will.
అదే ఆయన మాట్లాడుతున్నాడు. నేను చూపించింది సమస్యకి పరిష్కారం కాదా అంటాడు. అవును, పరిష్కారమే అంటాను. కానీ చిన్న సమస్య తీసుకుని దాన్ని పరిష్కరించావు కదా నువ్వు, సమస్య పెద్దది కదా అంటాను నేను. సమస్య కూడా నాకు నేనే క్వశ్చన్ వేసుకోవడం, నేనే ఆన్సర్ చేయడం, 100% మార్కులు వేసుకోవడం. ఎలా ఉంటుంది అది? అందరూ చెప్పిన I scored 100 marks అని చెప్పి క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ ఈ సెట్ బై మైసెల్ఫ్. అది చెప్పకపోవడం ఎవరికి. అలాగా మథన పడుతోంది, అంతరంగం బాగా మథన పడుతుంది, గిరగిర తిరుగుతుంది, ప్రపంచం అంతా తిరుగుతుంది, చూస్తుంది. దేవతలు ఉన్నారు, మంత్రాలు ఉన్నాయి, అంత బాగానే ఉంది.